Hi Virgos, and welcome to your July 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk about some of the energies coming in for your sign. Welcome back, Virgos. I hope that you are having a nice time of Cancer season. If you're watching this during Cancer season, we are moving towards Leo season, which means we are almost to you, Virgo. We are getting closer and closer to your time of the year, and of course we'll talk all about it once we get there, but I am super pumped for Virgo season of 2020. I think it will be a wonderful, shifting, aligning and just really activating time, kind of like how Cancer season will be, except a little bit more gentle and a little bit more simple as well, I feel, during your time. So we are getting up to that, and I think that your sign particularly has a lot to do between now and Virgo season. I mean, we all do, but I think that if you kind of look at where you're at right now, Virgo, in this moment that you're watching this video, and comparing that to where you want to be around like late August or early September, what is that looking like for you? And now I think that July, especially early July, is such a wonderful time to take stock and to understand what you're working with, how you want to use that to move forward, and what is really authentic for you here and now. Virgo is really emboldening themselves this month and also celebrating the accomplishments that they have, which might be subtle. I'm feeling that subtle accomplishments are your victory this month during Cancer season, especially because I kind of feel that by blazing a path or by being overwhelming in any way, you might kind of deny some of the subtle benevolence that really is here for you. So what I feel really strongly, Virgo, is something very specific. You've got 8 of Swords in the reverse and 4 of Wands upright. So there's very clearly a celebration of overcoming some sense of confinement or overcoming some sense of feeling trapped. That is really going to kickstart your month here and now. And as you start to celebrate that and as you come out of that, you will see that, yes, there's a big creative expansion and you have more energy to be motivated, but there's kind of a crossover also that I feel with this. How do I explain? As you leave this place of feeling trapped or confined or at the whims of other people, it can kind of come to a head. You know, if you get a breakout or if you get a pimple or something, before it leaves, before it goes away, it's got to kind of go to that point where it's not nice, you know? It hurts, it's oozing. There's something about this time that is kind of like an eruption for you, especially moving towards Leo time. And I think that it is for a reason. So if any Virgos out there, as I think there are some of you, you know, having 8 of Swords reversed, having the Moon reversed, having the Devil, there could be a situation that has gone on and on and on, and it's getting so menial now, so laborious, and what you now have is the very last part of that, or the very receding edge of a precipice, really. And that edge is very sharp, or that edge is very sometimes disorienting in how difficult it can be, because it is the moment before you are purifying, before you are cleansing out these things that have been difficult. So you're really doing some pretty incredible, like, scorpionic things this month, Virgo, kind of feeling very scorpionic in your energy. Maybe some of you have some strong Scorpio placements, in which case that might resonate more. But what else do I want to talk about before we get into the week to week? I think that you have more than you're aware of also. Perhaps where you're living, or the success that you're having now is stronger than you think it is. Okay, so maybe getting a promotion or seeking new employment or starting a new business. These things that might feel really small right now, they are stronger than you think that they are. They are more promising than you think they are. And that feels important to really get clear about, is how strong your next horizons could be, how strong your energy has actually become. Because I think that things can actually be a bit blurry there with the Moon reversed too and the Devil. Maybe this long-running chapter of being like, you know what, I just really can't do more than this. You know, I just really can't have more than what these days are consisting of. I just really can't. You know, that I think is ending for you this month, where there's a convincing or an illusion of this being your peak. Okay. not quite the peak yet for Virgos. It can kind of feel that way coming from around the calendar new year, where it's like, oh my gosh, I've achieved as a Virgo some amount of, peak or some amount of climax of what I can do. And here, especially getting closer to your time of the year, I think you're going to really outshine that or take that to a level that you didn't expect by how you work with the energy here and now, and kind of getting out of that old psychology of, this is the most I can do. So let's talk about the week to week, Virgo. In the first week of July, you've got the Eight of Swords reversed, rooted down by Queen of Swords. So I think that you guys have actually had this combination maybe a few months ago. And one way or another, I've always been seeing these cards for Virgos lately, Eight of Swords and Queen of Swords. So that evolution of the mind coming from entrapment consciousness to decisive consciousness. That transition has been so strong and so in effect for you guys for so long now. And I would say the first week of July is finishing that up for you. I feel that so strongly. So what do you need to do during the first week to facilitate this change? Really look around and see what is an entrapment, okay? Look around and see, maybe in a different light, what is confining you. Is it this debt? Is it this job? Is it this relationship? It might not be, okay? It might not have quite been what you think it was. Maybe it was something in your environment, something like some kind of loudness or some kind of chaos outside of you that you didn't know you were so focused on, that could have really been draining you or depleting you more than you realized. What I basically feel is that there's a discovery with Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is about discoveries. So a discovery of what was actually confining you, or a discovery of what that was like. And it might feel super difficult at first, right during this first week, as you are seeing that and understanding that chaos, because I do feel there's an element of chaos there. But as you move into the second week with Four of Wands rooted down by Ace of Wands, it's like gone, okay? By seeing it, by discovering it, you burn past it and you emerge into this more creative, authentic space where you are being celebrated. So I do see maybe some kind of celebration for you in the second week of July. So maybe, having like a nighttime get together at the beach or something. I could see that being really wonderful. Or even just being out in the sun alone or in solitude. Being creative in the sun could be really good for you. I'm sensing something quite solar. And also with the moon coming up, I think that you guys might need more sun, or might need more, UV rays to kind of heal you up a little bit. So the second week of July could be a really good time to undertake some of that. Also, like people who are optimistic. Okay, Virgo, let's talk about people who are optimistic. Is there resentment for those types of people? Okay, Virgo can be a very critical sign. Virgo can be a very, just pinpoint all the problems so that they can be fixed. And in the second week, I think that being more optimistic or more positive will do you well. That's not going to be all Virgos, but and again, there is such thing as toxic positivity too. But I do think that something needs to be a little bit more gracious, or something needs to be a little bit more loved or enjoyed or optimistic for you guys, and because I think that really motivates you in a good way at this time. So great time for optimistic friends. Those people in your life that you know are always negative, always having to criticize, always having to gossip, always having to tear other people down behind their backs, I would avoid those people at that time, because that type of energy will really negate the new creative beginning for anybody around it at that time. We are in a triple retrograde conjunction of Capricorn energy. So it is so easy for in this one moment to just really negate all of your fortune, just to be sharp or just to be critical or just to be above other people, and sort of ramble on about things that are really not even, that are hypothetical to some degree, but now shown as fact. So this is a really important thing for Virgo energy at this time, to ditch the criticism to some degree, apply it to your own life and your own environment, fix what you need to fix. But I would say ditch the criticism and find those optimistic people, because they will give you so much during that time. Third week, the Magician rooted down by Three of Wands. Whoa, Virgo, that feels to me like a new world. So congratulations for those of you really seeing a totally new side of life during the third week of July. I see great success in what you've been putting into motion. Also a really compelling interest in the future and what your future is offering you. In this case, I do see Three of Wands to be more of looking at a horizon. Sometimes I talk about how Three of Wands is focusing on somebody with their back turned to you, which could be for some of you. But in this context with the Magician, I feel this more to be, really thinking about how you can use what is in your hands, how you can use the resources that you have to make your life better. And I think the third week of July will really give you some great insights and great ideas about what you want to do with the next chapter of your life, how you want to really move forward and how you want to enjoy things. So that's really beautiful. I'm not even going to really look too much more deeply into that because that feels very straightforward to me. Basically, you just have a lot of power to create a new chapter at that time. Week number 4, you have the moon reversed, rooted down by the devil. So yeah, this often happens when we have 2 great weeks, second week and third week being pretty undoubtedly positive and sort of expansive for you too. This always happens after we expand like that. We have blurry lines, or we have certain aspects of ourselves that actually we're not really looking to expand, or we're maybe very content being restrictive or constrained in some way. So those things will sometimes act up and flare up. As we expand, we see more clearly our previous methods of self-confinement. So if that happens for you at all in the 4th week of July, Virgo, try to just meet it with like a hug or a sort of a self-embrace where you say, okay, I realize that that's how things were, but this is how things will be now. I realized that perhaps I was not seeing that person for who they actually were, but this is how I see them now. I realized that I was unaware of the contributions that I was making to, this business or this project, but now I see more clearly what I want them to be. And as you see it clearly and as you accept the truth of your experiences, there's a great cutting of the shackles and there's a great breaking of a previous cycle of confinement. And if that is not freeing and liberating and wonderful for you, it really only can be, as I see that Virgo really is feeling its new sense of flexibility, or its new sense of, just really being able to stretch and not like hit the wall, basically. If you think like, okay, I'm going to, stretch my hand out and all of a sudden it runs into the wall or something because I'm so boxed in. This feels to really be subsiding for you guys this month. Perhaps this is physical, perhaps this is with a relationship. Some of you feel a bit smothered in a relationship, to me. And I think that this month will really get things in a much more breathable, healable, content light. So middle of the month, you guys are golden. You guys are doing some incredible things. I love to see what I'm seeing. And as we move closer and closer to your season, you should probably get stronger and stronger. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and conclude your reading on that note. Happy July. If you would like to see the extended reading, it will be over on Patreon, and I will link that in the center of this video here. So you should be able to click that now. As always, your likes, comments, and subscribes here on YouTube make my day. It is very helpful. Let me know how it resonated for you below. And I'll be talking to you soon, Virgos. Much love. Let's jump over to Patreon for the extended now. Bye.